If you're a little uncomfortable, like if your head's a little forward, definitely put, you know, a little pillow or a towel roll kind of behind your back here or your head. I'll start just by demonstrating the first thing, and I'll give everyone some time to catch up. But we're just going to start on our back with our knees bent a little bit, feet are on the ground, and we're going to start with a chest stretch. So we've done a pec stretch before, seated in the chair. Now we're going to do one lying down, where our arms are going to be out to our side in a T. You can't really see this hand as much, but you can at least see this hand. But both my arms are kind of out to my side. My head is right in the middle. Again, if you need a pillow or something, have a pillow. These are bent, and I'm just having my arms go out to the side. And I want to feel a stretch through my chest and my pecs. So these muscles right here, as I just let my arms fall to the ground here, letting gravity do the work. Now, if your arms might not go all the way down to the ground, you know, they might be stuck up here a little bit, but as long as you're feeling the stretch through the chest is where we want it. And I'm in a T, you know, there's a 90-degree angle between my trunk here and my arm here. So that's where I'm starting. And we're just doing a nice gentle stretch. Again, I'm going to hold this a little bit longer to give everyone enough time to kind of get in position and start feeling the stretch here. But ideally, like we've done before, when stretching, you're holding between 30 and 60 seconds. Now, a progression here would be, if you feel a stretch, just keep holding it here 30 seconds, and then you would rest here. And then you'd go back here for 30 seconds. Again, 90 degrees, T, right here. Both arms are out to the side. If you're not feeling a stretch, the progression would be, now I'm in more of a Y, all right? You're almost stretching the upper part of the pec a little bit more. So more of a Y positioning. Again, if you feel a stretch in a T, just keep the T, 30 to 60 seconds, rest, and then another 30 to 60 seconds. If you're not feeling a stretch, then you go more into a Y with your arms. Again, my knees are bent, my feet are on the ground, because we want to make sure when the arms are back and up like this, we're not arching our back. You're trying to keep your back flat on the ground. If you have any rotator cuff shoulder injuries at all, and you're having pain, then I would keep it in a pain-free range down here or anywhere in between. But again, start here. If you're not feeling much of a stretch, go further up. If you're feeling a stretch, just hold it there 30 to 60 seconds. And we're going to do 2 of those. So I'll give everyone a little more time here to kind of get going with that. I'll give everyone maybe 2 minutes, and we'll try doing that. 2 repetitions, 30 to 60 seconds. Again, you can do it more if you want, because for our next one, we're going to keep our hands in this position if you can. If not, you can keep them down here. But let's just give everyone a little more time. I'm going to hold this T for a little bit longer. We're feeling that gentle pull through the front part of our chest here, upper part, maybe even into the front of the shoulder in the T. If you're not feeling much of a stretch, then you're going in the Y. All right, again, we're stretching out these pecs to try to get our shoulders back. Last week we talked a lot about posture, trying to keep our shoulders back, keeping our head up. So that's what we're starting with first, a nice simple pec stretch here. All right, so I'll make sure everyone has enough time with that. I'll start demonstrating the next one here in a second, but most of you may be familiar with the next one, but this is the lower trunk rotation. So you're in the same position. The knees are bent, the feet are on the ground. But this time, when I mean lower trunk, the only thing moving is my legs. So you can have your arms down at your side, or you can continue to hold your arms out here if you can tolerate it. But this one, we're just letting our legs kind of drop to the side. So I'm letting them, I want to make sure this mic doesn't shut off. I'm letting my legs drop to the left. Again, I'm keeping my shoulders on the ground. You want to avoid this, all right? So the shoulders are stable on the ground first. Knees are bent. You let your legs drop, all right? You hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm coming back to the middle, and now I'm going the other way. Again, just the legs are dropping. You let gravity do the work. we're going pain-free range. So this is kind of stretching out, you know, moving those vertebrae, getting them to rotate a little bit. Because when you think about trying to roll in bed, you need to be able to rotate those vertebrae in order to roll. So again, I'm just dropping my legs back and forth, holding for about 5 seconds. My shoulders are on the ground. And don't worry, your legs don't have to go all the way down here. It's just whatever range you got. So you just go into the stiffness, you hold, and then I'm gently going the other way. So this is lower trunk rotation. Just back and forth. You go at your own pace. And we're going about, you know, 10 to 12 times side to side, holding 5 seconds on each side. Doesn't need to be exactly 5 seconds. I just don't want you flying back and forth because this should be more of a gentle range of motion stretching. You know, sometimes I'll recommend people do it in the morning, you know, before you get out of bed, before you end up, even before you take your medication. Sometimes in the morning, that's when people are their stiffest, especially in the back. And this is just gentle rotation, side to side, shoulders are on the ground. You can keep your arms out at your side here, but you can also keep them down like this, as long as the shoulders are on the ground. So I'm going left, my right shoulder maintains contact with the mat or the bed here, okay? Same thing when I go the other way. I'm just going to do a couple more of these. Again, I want to make sure everyone has enough time to go through these. All right, so I'm going to do a couple more side to side. Nice and gentle. Now I'm not holding quite 5 seconds. I should slow it down a little bit. Again, this should be fairly pain-free range when you're going to your side. Fairly pain-free. I don't want you pushing through any pain. All right, so we'll give everyone a little time to finish up with that. And the next one we're going to do is actually going to be on our side. We're going to do upper trunk rotation. So we just did lower trunk. So I'm going to get on my side here. Again, pillow or something, towel roll if you need it. My knees are bent. My feet are together. I'm going to give everyone time to get in position. I'll demonstrate, and then I'll go through it. Start on whatever side you want to start on, but knees bent, touching, feet are together. My hands are out in front. My palms are together, okay? Now, the lower part of our body does not move. We're working on the upper trunk, so only the upper part of your body will move. So I'm on my right side. I'm going to move my left arm up and over. All right? And I'm keeping it in line. I'm keeping that 90-degree angle with my trunk and my arm, 90 degrees the whole time. And you can see as my left arm goes up and over, my feet and knees are together on the ground. So you want to avoid this. You don't want everything coming together because we're trying to focus on rotation here of the upper trunk. And you can also see when I bring my left arm all the way up and over, I literally look at my hand and follow my hand with my head. So you're almost getting some cervical rotation as you get upper trunk rotation. And I want you to go a little slower than I'm going, all right? So follow the hand as far as you can go. Now, you might not be able to get all the way over. You just go however far you can go. When you get to that end range, so the end range over on this side, you hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a quick 5 seconds following the hand. My knees are together. They're maintaining contact with my bed or the ground. And then I'm following my hand back with my head. So I'll give everyone some time to go through. You know, ideally, you're going for about 10 of these all the way over, following with your hand, and then all the way back, hands are coming together. So you want to go for about 10 repetitions on the right side. And then after the 10 repetitions on the right, we'll do 10 on the left. So if you've already gone through about 10 on the right, feel free to do the same exact thing on the left side or on the whatever side you didn't already do. And again, this should be pain-free range. We don't want to force any motion that isn't there. Now you want to get into that stiff range, and every time you do a repetition, you almost want to try to go a little bit further if you can. And definitely get that head involved, get that neck involved. Neck rotation, very important. When you think about you're up walking around in the world, you got to be able to look around, look behind you. If you drive, you got to be able to look over your shoulder if you're backing up. So again, go at your own pace. But I'm going to switch over to my other side, and I'll give everyone some time to do whatever side they didn't do before, okay? So I'll just demonstrate this side, and you can get a view from behind now. So now I'm on my left side. My hands are together starting. My knees are together. My feet are together. My right arm goes all the way up and over. I follow it with my head as far as I can. So my neck is rotating the same direction as my top arm. I hold for a couple seconds. You know, I usually just count to 5, and then I rotate back, nice and slow and controlled. So we're just trying to mobilize that whole spinal column, trying to loosen up that back. Rotation's so important. You know, when we walk, our body has a rotation to it because we're swinging the opposite arm, opposite leg, and that is rotation of the spine. So we need a mobile spine. And again, just like with the lower trunk rotation, you can do these, you know, the first thing you do in the morning before you get out of bed and really loosen everything up. That's when some people tend to be the stiffest. And again, once you've done 10, you can keep going, but I just want to give everyone enough time to finish these up. All right, so I'm going to get back onto my back. I'll let everyone finish up with that. And then we're going to get into some bridges. Actually, you know what? We'll do a single knee to chest stretch first, and then we'll go into bridges. So single knee to chest, I'll demonstrate. If you need more time with the other one that we just did, take your time, but I'm just going to demonstrate single knee to chest. So I'm starting with my right leg out and extended. My left leg, I'm going to try to bring up towards my chest, and you can actually assist with your arms a little bit, either on top of the knee. If you have knee pain, you could go behind the knee holding like this, and I'm just gently trying to pull my knee up towards my chest. You definitely don't expect you to get all the way to your chest. You're just pulling it up in that direction. And we're almost trying to feel, you know, you will feel like you're stretching out your glute on the side you're bringing up, but conversely, ideally, we're trying to feel a stretch through this hip flexor on this side. So you want to be careful that this knee doesn't come up as well, that you try to maintain contact with my right leg. So you want to make sure this knee is straight and on the ground as best as possible. Make sure you set that first, and then you bring up the opposite leg here, okay? And again, with every stretch, I'm going to give people more time than you need, but I just want to make sure everyone has enough time. With every stretch, you're holding 30 to 60 seconds. So I'm trying to bring up my left leg towards my chest. You can put your hands on top of the knee or behind the knee, and I'm pulling up towards my chest, trying to keep this leg straight, okay? And I'm holding 30 to 60 seconds. After 30 to 60, I'm actually going to switch and do my other leg. So I'm just going to hold this for a bit longer. I'll switch and do my other leg. But again, you go at your own pace, and you're going for trying to do 2 repetitions on each side. So I just want to make sure everyone gets enough time with this. And again, the importance of stretching our hip flexors here. So I'm going to switch legs. So my left leg is on the ground, and now I'm bringing my right leg up towards my chest here. So the importance of stretching out the hip flexors is, like we touched on last week with posture, that front part of the thigh, you know, if it's tight from sitting too long or just in general, that'll pull you forward and cause you to be a little more bent over. That's why we're stretching out the front part of your body. Again, I'm pulling up my right leg, so I might feel a stretch on this part of the glute, but also keeping my left leg on the ground, you could potentially feel a little bit of a stretch on that front part of the thigh. I'll review a hip flexor stretch we went over last time at the end as well, but this is an alternative version. So again, I'll give everyone enough time to make sure they can get at least once on each side, if not twice on each side, okay? So I'm just gonna switch back over, bringing my left leg up. My right leg stays in contact with the ground the whole time, and I'm gently pulling, again, pain-free range, just pulling in, pushing into the stiffness, but not to pain. If you have pain, you ease off just a little bit. And I'm gonna hold this a little bit longer, just so everyone has enough time here. All right, now I'm switching back over. I'm bringing up my other leg, just so everyone can see it. I'm bringing up my right leg here. So I feel, you can feel a pull in the back glute here, but also in the front part of that left thigh. You're trying to keep that leg on the ground to stretch that out. All right, so I'll give everyone a couple seconds to finish that up. And then we'll still be on our back here. And we'll bring your knees up with your feet on the ground when you're ready, and we'll get into some bridges next, is what I wanted to do. So I'm sure most people are aware, or maybe have done a bridge before. The biggest focus with the bridge is you want to make sure you're utilizing your bottom muscles or your glute muscles. So I'll just demonstrate a bridge for everyone. You're lifting straight up as high as you can. Now, I don't expect you to get that high. You just get as high as you can. But when you lift up, you make sure I almost squeeze I squeeze my bottom muscles first. I squeeze the cheeks together first because I want the brain to use those. So I squeeze my glutes first, and then I rise up because I want to rise up using my bottom. We're focused on extension. Now, if you have a lot of low back pain, then you just do what you can. Even if it's just the glute squeeze, you could just do the glute set instead, where you just set your glutes, you tighten up your glutes, you hold for 5 seconds. But if you can, then you try to maintain that glute set. So I'm squeezing my cheeks, and then I lift up. Again, even if it's just a couple inches, we just want to promote that extension that we're always talking about, using the glutes, tightening up those muscles. Those are important muscles for going up and down stairs, getting out of the chair, just walking. So again, I want to give everyone enough time to do these, but I'm squeezing my glutes first together. I tighten up my glutes, then I lift up towards the ceiling, and I hold 1, 2, 3, and I go back down. Now, a common thing that can happen with this, some people might have a little bit of hamstring cramping here, because when I'm doing this, the hamstring is working to do that. So if the muscle's cramping, you alternate where your feet are. Sometimes you can push your feet further down and push up, or you can pull the legs up a little bit more, put a little bit more slack, and then pull up. So one of those two, alternate where the feet are, but go at your own pace. You want to try to get at least 10 of these in, all right? So I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm lifting up, I'm holding 1, 2, 3, I'm back down, all right? So try about 10 of these, go at your own pace, and I'm squeezing my glutes and pushing up. Again, low back pain or pain in general, just do the glute sets, squeeze the glutes, all right? Or if you can, at least engage a little bit. But ideally, you're trying to get up as high as you can, pain-free. If you have hamstring cramping, alternate where your feet are. Either push them out further, try it, or pull up. If you feel like those muscles are cramping up, you just got to straighten the legs out, try to stretch those muscles out, okay? But let's give everyone a little more time and go through the bridges. Now, if a simple bridge is fairly easy for you, a progression is a single leg bridge. So I'll just show that, give people another way of doing it. So single leg bridges, I straighten one leg, and you can do it 2 different ways. You can keep my left leg on the ground as I lift up, or you can have that leg, the more advanced would be keep that leg up and then do a bridge while keeping a straight leg raise at the same time. So those are a couple progressions. So the first progression would be, here, I'll switch legs so you can see. I keep this leg on the ground, and then I go up. Or the more advanced progression would be up like this. But those are a couple progressions for you to do more of a single leg bridge. But let's just give everyone a little bit more time to finish up these glutes. You can do another set if you want. So do 2 sets of 10. But the key focus is I'm squeezing my glutes and lifting up. All right? So let everyone finish up, and then we'll go over a little progression if you guys have room, would be kind of scooting. So why we also like the bridge is because one thing sometimes we have to do in bed is to kind of scoot our bottom over. So I don't have a ton of room on this mat, but if you want to practice, would be a scoot, okay? So to scoot, what I typically would do, I move my shoulders the direction I'm going first, then I do the bridge and I kind of slide my bottom over and then my legs, all right? And now I'm over. So to review that, I'm moving my shoulders first, then I'm doing the bridge, lifting up, pushing over to the left, and then I'm moving my legs. So I don't have a ton of room on this mat, so I'm going to go back and forth, but that would be the other progression. So if everyone wants to try some scooting just side to side, so it'd be shoulders, do the bridge, lift up the bottom, push the bottom over, then the legs. So shoulders, bottom, legs. All right? So shoulders, lift up, scoot over. So that would be kind of why we are doing bridges, to hopefully help with mobilizing in bed. So you can do it in a different order too, wherever you feel is easiest for you, but I want you to practice scooting a little bit. So I go shoulders first, and then I lift up and move my legs over. And then it depends how far you move your shoulders first. You might have to do a couple bridges to get over. And then sometimes you can kind of engage the elbows a little bit too, would be a progression to do with bed mobility. So then I'm kind of lifting up my shoulders and my bottom at the same time. So if everyone wants to practice the scooting a little bit, but the key focus with the scooting is, again, engage, going back to the principle of just doing the bridge, all right? But now you're kind of putting two things together. So we'll give everyone a little more time to practice either just the bridges, but also you can try the scooting too. So you can break it, like I'll just review, you can break it up into a couple parts where you're moving the shoulders first, and then the bottom, and then the legs, or you can kind of do everything at once where you're using your elbows to kind of lift up as well. All right, so we'll give everyone another minute doing that, and then we're gonna end up rolling onto our stomachs. So we'll be in the prone, which is called a prone position, to kind of review, or I guess we haven't really done the planks yet, which we'll be doing a modified couple versions of the planks. So I'll give everyone a minute here. So a couple ways that we will be doing the planks would either be starting on hands and knees, if that's okay, hands and elbows and knees, and then a full-on plank. So I'll just show you guys a couple of the progressions while everyone kind of gets in position. So the first position would kind of just be this, let me come sideways, would either just be, hands and knees for a plank, all right? More of just a simpler plank. A progression from here would be bringing the legs out a little bit, and now I'm having to focus on using the core a little bit more. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm trying to tighten up my stomach muscles, tighten up my bottom muscles, all right? So I would start almost in this quadruped position, and then the progression would be you slide the legs out a little bit. So now I have to use the core a little bit more. The lower you are down here, the harder it is. All right, again, I'm tightening up my stomach, pulling in my belly button, tightening up my glutes. All right, if you feel fairly comfortable with that, I'll go through the next progression, which would then be, now I'm on my elbows in my knees, and I'm pretty much a table. Let me just get a little bit more right in the middle here. All right, so I'm a table. I'm squeezing my glutes. I'm squeezing my stomach muscles. Again, I'll go through these all again. And then the progression from here would be a straight up plank. I'm on my elbows. I'm on my toes. I'm tightening up my stomach. I'm tightening up my glutes. So again, the order of progression would be the simplest or the least strenuous would be just in the quadruped position. I'm tightening up my stomach and my glutes. To progress from there, you slide your legs out a little bit more. So you're in this position with your hips extended a little bit more. Again, I am tightening up my glutes. I'm tightening up my stomach. Progression from there would be elbows and knees, a little bit lower to the ground. I'm tightening up my glutes. I'm tightening up my stomach. If you need to rest, you just kind of lie right down on your stomach, okay? And then the full-on plank would be toes, elbows. I'm not up like this. I'm not arched like this. I'm flat like a table. I tighten my stomach. I tighten my glutes. And again, don't feel like you have to hold a plank for a minute, right? So if I'm doing just a modified kind of plank here, maybe I hold for 10 seconds and then I need to rest and go down. Or if you do a modified plank this way, maybe you go 10 seconds and rest and you try to build it up every time you do it. So you're going for 30 to 60 seconds, but it's whatever you feel like you can tolerate. And those are the couple progressions of the plank. So I'll just go over that one more time so everyone has enough time to try this, but you're really trying each one. Don't feel like you have to go through the progression all the way. You just find which one is strenuous for you enough that you can tolerate it for, let's say, 20, 30 seconds, and then you rest, and then you do another rep. So we're really doing 2 reps of 20 to 30 seconds. So again, progressions, hands and knees. I extend out and make it a little harder. From here, I'm going elbows and knees in more of a modified plank, and then the full-on plank here. Again, you find what you can tolerate, and you try to keep your head in a nice neutral position here. And I'm really squeezing my cheeks, squeezing my glutes, tightening up my stomach as I go, because those are the muscles we want to use. We want to keep that pressure off that low back, okay? So let's give everyone a little bit more time there, and then we'll go into just some quadruped, which is hands and knees from there. That'll be our next position. But, if you need to rest, you either, you just sit, or you just sit, lie on your stomach, or you just go into like the little child's pose position like this. And you would do a couple reps of that. And I believe that's on the homework. I'll review the homework at the end. All right, so those are kind of the 3 or 4 modifications of the plank. All right, so if everyone was able to do, at least 2 or 3 reps of one of those positions, we'll move on to our next one here, which will be, we'll go over some quadruped, which is the hands and knees positioning here. So for hands and knees, we're going to start with the cat-cow, which is a stretch for really more of a mobilization of our back. So you want to just kind of get in this position. You want to make sure you're not dipping like this yet, and you're not arching like this, because we'll get to that. You just start in a neutral position. And then how you progress from here, or how you mobilize, would be you kind of arch your back. So my pelvis is rolling forward towards the ground. I'm arching my back. Keep your head forward. Don't turn your neck like you're doing with me. Keep your head forward. And then you're trying to, like the cat part would be here, like a scared cat, or a cat is stretching. You're trying to arch that spine. And then you come back down like this. So I'm going from like a little bit of a bowl position to kind of a hill. All right, and think about what your pelvis is doing, this part, right? So that's actually rotating. So my pelvis is rolling towards the ground, and now I'm like in a bowl, and now I'm becoming a hill, and my pelvis is moving up towards the ceiling. All right, so we're trying to, again, mobilize the spine. You don't want to, just like with our other trunk rotation, you don't want to rush through this, okay? I'm kind of holding each one for a couple seconds. And again, with this, you're going for repetition. So, 10 to 12 reps. My my arms are at 90-degree angles here. And I'm a bowl, and then I'm a hill. All right, so that's kind of the cat-cow is what they call it. But this is more of the cat. This is more of the cow. All right, and you want to feel that pelvis rolling. So from here to here, my pelvis is rolling down, and I'm coming back up. And should be fairly pain-free range. And you don't want to rush, again, you don't want to rush through it. These are all this is more of a mobilization. Just trying to get that spine to move, all right? So I want to make sure everyone has enough time to get through these. Again, do another set of 10 if you've already gone through them, but I want to make sure everyone was able to kind of get in the position and able to go through it. Again, if you need to take a break, just get into sitting or, the little bit of a child's pose from there, okay? So then from here, we'll get into, again, we'll go back into the hands and knees position. And then when you're ready, we'll do a little bit more of a strengthening exercise. So this one is knee and hip extension. So I'm on all fours, and then I'm kicking backwards. Now, when I kick backwards, you want to make sure that you're trying to keep your trunk and your torso here fairly still. So I'm trying to, I engage my core, I tighten up my stomach and belly muscles, and then I kick straight back. You don't want to arch like that, and you don't want to arch up top. I'm a table here. I'm flat like a table, all right? And I'm kicking straight back, thinking about using your glute muscles as you come back there, okay? So I have both hands on the ground or mat or bed, and I'm kicking straight back. Kicking straight back, okay? And I'm going for about 10 on the left side. And then I'll just show you guys the other side. And then I'll go to the other side. Again, I'm using my glute muscles, and I'm driving that knee and hip straight back, all right? We want to use the glutes. It's an extension exercise for glutes. So I'll go back to the left so you can see the left. All right, driving that hip and knee straight back. And your knee doesn't need to come forward like this. You can just put it right on the ground. All right, and then the other side. So you do about 10 on each side. I'll go over a quick progression of this for if you feel like that's pretty easy. You can then do opposite arm, opposite leg. So what I mean by that is one leg will kick out and the opposite arm will come forward, all right? And then you can kind of alternate. This would be the progression. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, just keep doing this regular kickbacks. But the progression would be opposite arm, opposite leg. Because then you get a little bit more of the core involved. So you do want to make sure you're tightening up those stomach muscles as you go. All right? But again, this is all I'm concerned about. But if you feel like that is pretty easy, then get the arms going with it. All right? Give everyone a minute here to kind of go through that. I want to double check if there's anything else I want to do in this position. I'll show you the fire hydrant one. Similar exercise. I'll just demonstrate this one if you feel like you've got the other one. This one actually might be a little easier for some people because I'm just kicking my leg out to the side now. So this is kind of a modification if you feel the kickbacks is too difficult. And I'm working a little bit more of the lateral or the side glute muscles and the rotators. So it could perhaps be a little easier for some people if you want to try this instead. But if you find like that is a little too easy, then again, you can go back to this or opposite arm, opposite leg. But I'll just demonstrate the fire hydrant one
a little bit more. So you might feel it, like I do feel my glutes burning a little bit more on the side for the rotators. If your arms and shoulders are getting tired, again, take a rest if you need. And we're going to end up, I'm going to look at time-wise, you know, that would probably be the last one we do on the ground because I want to give enough time to get our cardio in. I just want to double check if I got everything I wanted to do. Yeah, the only other one I didn't touch on would be, we went over the wall push-ups. So I just want to go over it quickly because it's part of the homework. Don't feel like you have to do it now, but would be the either the modified push-up. So you're in this modified plank position, and then you're going down. So that would be a modified push-up. Or like last week, I'll show you at the end, would be the wall push-up. But I just want to show you this now so you have it for homework. Don't feel like you have to do it right now, but that's the modified push-up. You can also bring the knees further up if you need. All right, but again, the wall would be the easier version of that. So I just wanted to review that before we got back up. So I'm going to give everyone, we'll give everyone 5 minutes here because I just want to make sure we kind of get all. So, you know, I did want to go through those exercises on the ground just because I feel like they're important for, like I touched on before, spine mobility, which is important for rotation, which, like I said, you know, when we're walking, we have to rotate a little bit, opposite arm, well, that was the same one, but opposite arm, opposite leg as we walk. Same thing with just being able to roll in bed. Sometimes, as some of you know, with Parkinson's disease, when you're stiffer, you know, it's harder to roll, it's harder to move around in bed. So, you know, the medication can help, but if you're have an off period, it's still good to know other ways to kind of stretch out. And then same thing with the pec stretch, like we focus on the posture like we touched on last week. So I did want to at least show you guys, even if you guys weren't able to do all those, at least have the video so you guys can go back to it and have a resource. All right, so let's, we'll get going here in a minute, or we'll get going, all right? I'll at least demonstrate. So we'll probably go through 4 or 5 exercises. Again, we're going 30 seconds on, and then we'll rest for a couple seconds before we move on to the next one, okay? So we're going 30 seconds sit to stands, okay? So just to review quickly, when we're doing the sit to stand, I'm at the edge of my chair, and I am exploding up, and I even want you to get the arms exploding up with you, okay? We're going, everything's going up. You're getting tall, the glutes are being used, and you're tightening those up when you're in standing, okay? So when everyone is ready here, I'll start the clock. I'll go for longer than 30 seconds because I want to make sure everyone has enough time to get through them, okay? So here we go. Going up and down as quick as I can, 30 seconds. If you start late, that's okay. We'll go a little bit longer. Again, you go as quick as you feel you safely can go, okay? Safety first, but I want to make sure you're getting tall, getting vertical. If you have shoulder injuries or shoulders pain, you know, just put the arms up as high as you can, all right? I just want you, or if you feel a little uncomfortable, then just use your arms a little bit. But I want the legs doing the majority of the work here. And like we've touched on before, I want you exploding out of that chair. All right, so I'll keep going, but if you've done 30, then you rest. And I don't mean 30 repetitions, I mean 30 seconds. All right. Okay, so take a quick breather. While you guys are resting, I'll demonstrate the next thing. So this is all stuff we've done before. All right, so resting, we're going to go into high knees, okay? So just to demonstrate, if you need to hold on, you hold on. But when I'm talking high knees, I'm getting my knees up. I'm driving my knees up. And I'm bringing them up and down as fast as I can. All right, and we've touched on the mountain climbers before. So if you feel fine just with the high knees, then you go opposite arm, opposite leg. All right? So when everyone's ready, if you've already started, keep going 30 seconds. If you haven't started yet and need a rest, take a rest. But let's give everyone at least a minute to at least get 30 seconds in, okay? So I'll just start with the knees, all right? Again, if you need to hold on to something, hold on to something. But once you got the pattern down, or those high knees, then you get the speed going, okay? And if you feel fine with that, then you go right into the mountain climber, which is opposite arm, opposite leg. Because like we've talked about the whole time, every session is posture in that extension. Give everyone a little bit more time here to keep going. And again, if you feel uncomfortable doing this, then hold on to something and just focus on the knees. But we're standing tall, the head is up, the chest is up, and I'm driving these knees up and down. All right, it's been a minute. I at least wanted you to get 30 seconds in. Let's take a quick breather here. And then our next one will be, again, we've done it before. I'll demonstrate while you guys are resting, because I want to give everyone some time here, is just the backwards toe taps, focused on chest up, head up. And then if you feel okay with the toe tap, then again, opposite arm, opposite leg. All right, so you can see me from the front. Start when you want to start. Go for 30 to 40 seconds. I just want to make sure everyone had enough time to do the other one and rest, and then get into this one. But again, if you feel a little unsteady, hold on to something and just do the legs. Chest up, head up. And once you got the pattern down, then you go as fast but as safely as you can, okay? I want a big step back there, big step. You feel okay with that? Opposite arm, opposite leg. If you have any shoulder issues, just do the legs. If you want that chair nearby, have that chair nearby. So I'm going opposite arm, opposite leg. Give everyone some more time to get through some, at least 30 seconds, all right? I'm definitely going closer to a minute. Don't feel like you have to go the full minute, though. Can if you want, but I just want to make sure everyone's got enough time. Chest up, head up. Opposite arm by opposite leg, or just the legs. All right, take your time to finish that one up. I just need a quick sip of water, and then we'll get into the last one, and then we should have enough time to get through some of them a second cycle. Okay, so we've done this one before again, but now we are doing sideways toe tapping, right? You need a chair, have a chair, or put the chair in front of you. But we'll start with the toe tap, side to side. Again, posture is up, side to side. If you feel okay with that, the progression is you're punching with the same side, but you're punching across your body. So my right leg is out to the side, but my right arm is across my body, and I'm punching across, and I'm rotating. We talked about that rotation, and then you would alternate. So we've done these a couple classes back, but I like it because it gets the arms and legs involved, and it focuses on the rotation that we touched on today. If you feel unsteady or don't feel comfortable with that, again, have the chair, hold on to it, and then focus on just the stepping. But you can still get your heart rate up, just increase the speed. All right? And I'll go back and I'll demonstrate the progression, which would be same side, arm and leg, but you're punching across your body. And then you're focused on speed and power. You know, get some power behind that punch. Make sure nothing's in your way. And again, I've gone for at least a minute here, but I want to make sure everyone gets at least 30 seconds in. So take a breather when you need it. And you can even turn, I'm looking at the camera, but you can even turn and look where you're punching. So you're getting that full rotation. All right? Let's make sure everyone has enough time with that. And then I want to do at least some of them again. So probably enough time to run through all of them again. So when you're ready, take a breather, sit down if you need it, because we're going to go back to sit to stands for 30 seconds. Then we'll do the high knees for 30 seconds. And then we'll probably just do the lateral punches again. We'll skip the mountain. Oh, no, that should be good. All right, so I give everyone enough time to finish that up. Rest if you need it. I'll start, but again, if you need to rest. I'll go for a minute, but I just want you getting 30 seconds in of the sit to stands and the arm raises. Again, I'm starting, but just as a demonstration, take a rest if you need it. If you're good to go, then you can start, but at least 30 seconds focused on speed, getting up as high as you can. And again, this is like we've touched on before. We're doing our aerobic training, but through interval training where you're going speed and then you take a rest. So that's been about 30 seconds. Like I said, I'll keep going to make sure everyone will get at least 30 seconds. You can keep going if you want. If not, what I would do is I would rest for the next 30 seconds because we're going to get into the high knees / mountain climbers next. Keep going. Everyone's doing well. Just get tall. Get tall. All right, it's been a minute. We'll take a breather. Rest if you need it. I'm getting a little out of breath here. All right. So again, rest, sit, get some water. And then we'll get into the high knees / mountain climbers here. So if you remember that one, you can get into it. If you need a breather, take a breather. I'm going to start in 20 seconds as a demonstration, but if you need a longer break, take a longer break. I know it's a class, but at the same time, I want to make sure you're going at your own pace. But when you're doing it for speed. And if you feel like you want more of a workout, you just go a little bit longer or faster. All right, so it's been 30 seconds there. I'll start. If you need a longer break, again, take it. But I'm going right into the high knees. I'm driving my knees up. If you want a chair, hold on to the chair. If you want the progression, then you're doing the mountain climbers. Chest up, head up, opposite arm, opposite leg. Again, I'll go for a minute, but you go for at least 30 seconds and then take a 30-second break if you need it. Or if you want to go longer, keep going. But you set the pace. You go as quick as you feel you can. Again, chair, high knees if you need it. And then, again, the mountain climber. Driving those hands up, driving those knees up, going for speed. So it's been 35 seconds there. I'm going to keep going, make sure everyone has enough time to do it. If you've done 30, need a break, take a break. Sitting or standing before we end with, we'll end with the lateral stepping and the punch. All right, so it's been a minute there. Again, take a breather. Then the last one, I'll demonstrate if some people want to start with it, but this is the one where you're either taking the sideways steps or progression would be my right leg's going to the right, my right arm is going to the left, and then opposite for the opposite side, and I'm alternating. So that would be the last one we'll finish with. So if you don't need a breather, feel like you want to keep going, start with that. Again, 30 to 60 seconds, fast as you can, keeping that chest and head up. If you need to stand and rest, sit and rest, feel free. So I'm going to start with that. I'll start with the lateral tapping. I'll time us. All right, and now I'm going to progress to the opposite punching if you feel like you can. And really focus on getting that rotation in. Getting the rotation. And really packing some power with that punch. All right, so it's been 35 seconds. Take a breather if you need it. Go longer if you want. I'll just keep going as a demonstration. And again, you can just do the sideways tapping instead. Again, I'm focused on good posture, standing up tall. And then you can get lateral punching in. All right, so it's been a minute there. Keep going if you haven't gone 30 seconds. I just want to at least talk about